Welcome to this week's episode of Jet Lag in the News. I'm Steve Jasper and I'm the Jet Lag Guy. For my Australian listeners, Happy New Financial Year. First up, I want to talk about the effect of blue light, but it's not on jet lag. Now, we know that blue light has an effect on the circadian rhythm, which is how retimer glasses work. But instead, I want to talk about the potential impact of blue light on gambling. Now, we know blue light has a profound effect on the thought processes, alertness, and it affects right throughout the brain. We also know that approximately 1.6 billion people worldwide engage in gambling activities. So smartphones and computers are enabling this. And I think we've all found gambling emails in our spam folders. And as a result, there's been a surge in online gambling. The gambling market is worth billions worldwide. And you'll know if you ever go into a casino, there's an environment that is conducive to gambling. So, for example, there's no clocks on the wall, there's no windows to the outside world, so you can keep track of time. And so casinos and slot machines or poker machines or fruit machines or whatever they're called where you are actually designed to keep you gambling. And light and colour are part of that effect. Now, in this study, there were 15 young people who did, and I'll read directly from the study here, an economic decision-making test under blue enriched and blue depleted light of equivalent visual brightness on separate occasions in a randomized order. The task required participants to choose between taking a risky gamble of a positive or a negative outcome or a less risky guaranteed outcome. So I'll read the results, but I'll leave out the statistical data. The findings demonstrated that individuals were significantly less loss averse under blue enriched light compared to blue depleted light. This study shows that exposure to light that preferentially targets circadian photoreception reduces loss aversion, which may encourage gambling behavior. So what I learned was that gambling is more likely in blue light depleted areas. And if you notice, casinos typically have a golden look to them. And I previously thought that gold was associated with wealth, which is why casinos were so golden. It turns out there's a darker ulterior motive because, of course, gold is the complement to blue. So if it's a very gold-rich or gold-enriched area, it will be a blue-depleted area. So there's some quite sinister motives, even in the lighting of a casino. Okay, over to Qatar. And there's a great interview with Australian chef Ross Lusted, who is responsible for Qatar Airways' new menu at escape.com.au. And his recommendation for eating when flying are light, protein-rich dishes with fresh vegetables such as grilled fish with a salad, citrus and toasted nuts. It sounds like a really great way to eat when you're flying long distance. Also, you need stronger flavors on board because your taste buds are a little off at altitude, maybe due to the noise in the cabin, and it's particularly sweet and salt detecting taste buds. So people who eat, you can eat more sugary or salty foods than you would on the ground, which is not great for your health. However, the savory taste buds or umami, they work just fine. They're not affected, which is why people often drink tomato juice on a plane much more so than on the ground. So the food served on aeroplanes needs to uphold its taste in a pressurized cabin, according to Ross Lusted. And of course, there's some other great advice that he gives. Stay hydrated, eat sensible, balanced meals, and try to adjust your schedule with your destination's time zone. Tea, herbal tea, and water are all great. And I'm adding this myself. This wasn't what he said, but stay away from alcohol. And of course, anything harder. Now, speaking of avoiding anything harder, it's over to London. There was a report that is a classic example of perfect British understatement. A naked British Airways crew member was discovered dancing in a business class toilet while on shift mid-flight from San Francisco to London Heathrow after allegedly taking drugs. The steward was meant to be serving meals and was nowhere to be found as they searched the plane, which was an Airbus A380-800, and the crew manager found him naked and dancing in the Club World cabin toilet. So, They put him in a spare pair of pajamas and buckled him up in a first-class seat, where he stayed for the remainder of the trip. When the plane landed, he was taken to hospital, then arrested and later released as inquiries continue. My favourite part of the understatement was that he, and I quote directly, was arrested on suspicion of being unfit for duty. Yes, I'm thinking if you're caught dancing naked in a business class toilet, you're probably not going to be much use if there's an emergency on board. So, taking drugs is one of the worst cures for jet lag I can think of. Speaking of cures for jet lag, if you need anything for jet lag, I've got your one-stop shop. You can get more information at my website, www.jetlagguide.com.au, with books, children's books and apps, workshops and one-on-one coaching. So follow the link and I'll see you there. And that's this week's Jet Lag in the News. I'm Steve Jasper. Thank you for your attention.